And blessings, and welcome to the Sologistic Radio Show, Monday Morning Quarterback. I'm your host, Doug Evans, the unknown icon. A few people call me Hannibal Smith. Got the Minister of Information, the straw that stirs the drink. Fat Tommy, what's popping, man?
Man, I'm glad this is Monday Morning Quarterback because there's no way you could have told me that the Browns was going to beat Green Bay. That's number one. Secondly, you couldn't have told me Philly was going to come back from a 26-6 deficit. You certainly couldn't have told me that the Steelers was going to play like garbage and still win. I can't believe these things. This has been most of the games this week was one touchdown games. It goes to show you that truly one or two plays decide the victory. It's can you focus the whole game? That's who seems to win, because Jalen Hurts, all that talk about him not being a top-notch quarterback, can't throw down the field, they should throw that away, because the team said, only way we're going to win is if we need to score fast, so we need to pass the ball. They said, Jalen, you got to go out there and do the quarterback job, throw the ball up the field. And he delivered. So when they ask him to hand the ball off, he hands it off. When they ask him to throw the ball, he throws the ball. When they ask him to score in the red zone, he scores. When they ask him to get a first down, he gets it. So listen, Jalen Hurts to me. Plus, wait a minute. He's beat Patrick Mahomes, right? They say the only way you can be the greatest is to beat. Okay, he beat Patrick, but he played him twice, right? They should have won. They was like, that was the Beyonce game. Wasn't that the game when the lights went out the last time Philly? I believe that was the Beyonce. Well, at any rate, he played them twice. In the first one, they was in that game. So it ain't like he went out there and didn't have great games.
I saw Cam hating this morning. You saw the look on Cam's face when people was like, put some respect on Jalen Hurts' name, because what you said last week, I'm doing what it takes to win. If I don't have to throw all the way across the field all game, because sometimes maybe that's why you guys losing, because you're trying to do that. And I adjust my game, according to the way the game is being played. I think that's a great quarterback, man. I just think people they look for things to find on this guy to try to, you ever seen like it's always something when they don't like you for some odd reason?
It's like Michael Jackson. Once Michael Jackson decided that he was smarter than Sony, all of a sudden he had all kinds of problems. Things that they was praising him for became problems. You know what I'm saying? He loved the children. Now they're using that against him. Jalen Hurts played great football. First, listen, let me state this, because this is what everybody tells me. I don't play football. I've never played except pee-wee football, and the coach asked me to give my helmet to somebody else. So me and football, we haven't been best of friends. But the coach calls the plays, right?
Right.
So when we say that Lamar Jackson is not winning and he's put in bad positions, we're blaming the coach, correct? That's right. What everybody's saying. The coach is calling in bad plays, not playing to his strengths. Now, Jalen Hurts does not call the plays. Am I correct? The coach calls the plays. So listen, when I'm the boss and I go to work and I say, Doug, move that stack over there, okay? And I say, what I want you to do is take it off from the top and move top to the bottom to reorganize it. You can't then go over there and just move the stack to the right, disregarding what I say. I'm the boss, Doug. Start from the top, put the top on the bottom on the top. That's what you have to do. Everyone has a job. Just like he's not the owner, he's an employee.
I wonder why these quarterbacks don't call their own plays. For to get paid so much money, I wonder why they don't call their own plays. Like Josh Allen's supposed to be so great. All these guys, I don't even think Tom Brady called his own plays, did he? Why they don't call their own plays?
I don't know when this stopped, but I remember, like, when I was a kid, Terry Bradshaw and all them guys, they called their own plays. That was what was being a great quarterback was all about, because you could call the plays in the huddle. Remember Any Given Sunday? Jamie Foxx, he's changing the plays in the huddle. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, Doug. I thought, I had to be schooled on the fact that they didn't. When I complained about Lamar so much and they said, he's not calling his plays, they sent in from the off. Oh, That changes the whole thing. So I thought they called their own plays. But this is what I really wanted to get to. I wanted to get to the fact that your Pittsburgh Steelers are ranked 29th in defense, 32nd in offense. What is Oh, and this is what I just found out today. Y'all the oldest team in the NFL.
At the oldest defense, for sure.
They said it's the oldest team. So my point is this. If they don't win this year, they need to get rid of everybody. And then you know what they said? They're gonna say the Steelers' problem is they don't have good receivers. Oh my goodness. Didn't y'all have the dude who Dak Prescott is throwing to, Pickens? Didn't Shador Sanders say the best quarterback's gonna be the one who throws the Pickens? Then if y'all need a receiver, you had one. What'd you get rid of? You had two. What was his name before him? AJ Brown, was it? What was his name?
No,
Not
Antonio Brown. But no,
Antonio
you
Brown.
had Pickens and you got DK Metcalf. You could have had both of them together with Aaron Rodgers. You decided to let the man go. This is what I'm talking about, Fat Tommy. So you seeing exactly what I've been saying forever. Now we done changed coordinators, we done changed quarterbacks, we done changed wide receivers, we done changed running backs. What's the one thing besides the owner is still there?
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I do not. You listen. It is Mike Tomlin, but here, listen to me. He shouldn't be fired because if Stefanski, whatever his name is, in Cleveland can keep his job, then Mike Tomlin can keep his job. I'm not
Why is that?
advocating.
Why is that? The Cleveland Browns do not have the players that we've been having for years.
The Cleveland Browns have won 3 games in the
But
last
they
30.
don't have the people, the players that we've had
And whose
and we
fault is
have had.
that?
You
But
just
okay,
said, you
when
just
people
said,
say
look, listen, we had Pickens, we got the
yes,
oldest defense, but it cost the most. We
right.
got
They say
DJ
y'all
Watt.
got some
We
great
got
names. You paying a
okay,
lot, but they old.
okay, okay. It's no excuse. It's no excuse for us. You can't even compare the two.
Who
If you ask me.
drafts the players?
Well, I guess they go in the room and with the owners, y'all decide who y'all want to draft. But he
Well,
probably don't have no power, so he should leave and where he can get some power.
well,
I'm sick
Cleveland.
of every time I wake up in the morning, they talking about, well, we love Tomlin and it ain't Tomlin's fault. I get tired of hearing that. Like it's
Well,
not his fault. Like you said, hold up. Like you said, if my manager said, Doug, move that from the top to the bottom and
and
move,
you do
and
it.
I do it and it falls,
And then the GM come in and say, "Who moved this from the top to the bottom?"
they said, Doug did it. Do I not say? He
That the
told
coach,
me.
the
That's what
coach,
he
the
told me to
managers.
do.
Listen, I did exactly what management told me to do, Mr. GM.
Right.
I said, we always move it like this. He said to me, I'm the manager, move it from the top to the bottom.
I
So
said,
then
don't you?
he
I said,
fires the manager.
don't you think we should move it sideways? Listen here, Doug. I get paid to tell you what to do. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I'm tired of your smart aleck always got
right.
a comeback. I'm tired of you always having to have a comeback. Just do what
Yes.
I tell you to do, and it falls down, and then the
GM
AGM
come over and
comes
say, "Who
in.
did this?" And you say, "I tried to tell him." Well, listen, the coach of Cleveland, they say Cleveland got the number one off defense. Man, that defense was whoo. The defense, if I'm telling you, if we could just score again 3 touchdowns, we could win a lot of games. 3 touchdowns. That's all we need to do. It's a couple of other
But
players.
listen, I don't know how he gonna get fired. He just beat Green Bay. He beat the Green Bay Packers.
He didn't beat the
It
he
took
didn't
us
he, ho,
five.
ho, ho, ho,
It took
ho.
us 5 turnovers to beat the New England Patriots, bro.
He
Stop
didn't
it.
beat the Green Bay
Stop
Packers.
it.
The Green Bay Packers beat themselves. Well, I can't say that. The Green Bay Packers allowed them to hang around. If the defense,
Everybody. I think everybody that lose beat themselves.
well, I can tell you this. I'm really glad we won because eventually Shador is going to get in this season, and
He's not getting in. He's not getting in, bro.
he need to have some wins under his belt before
He's
he gets.
not getting in. Lead that train and sail. He probably should go to Cincinnati because Shador Sanders is not getting in.
I'd like him to go to
This
Cincinnati. The way Dak looked, I'd like him to go to Dallas. They like Jerry Jones ought to just have this crazy thing and be like, you know what? I decide now I want Shador, and he should do everything in his power to go get him. That's what I hope for. I've never
listen,
rooted
bro.
for the Cowboys.
Listen, you might as well just get off that Shador Sanders train right now because you just wasting time. You see how time ticking, and you just keep talking about every week. You keep the Cleveland Browns just upset the Green Bay Packers, and nobody's getting in the game. If they win next week,
Listen,
he'll never see the field.
all when you give up on the Steelers, I'm gonna give up on Shador. Okay,
Well,
when you decide, no, not that they're gonna win as a team. You have to move teams. When you leave the Steeler, when you turn in your card for Steeler Nation, say I am now no longer a citizen of Steeler Nation. Then you can talk to me about
well,
Shador.
I've come too
But you
far.
over there with one
You
in
just picked them up
you
this
ain't won a playoff
last year,
game in 10 years.
huh?
10 years you ain't won a playoff game. You should have been left. So as long as you over there, you're not over there with Mike Tomlin, but as long as you over there with Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, I'm gonna be over here with Shador Sanders wherever he go. And yes, I agree he should leave. But what about C.J. Stroud? They saying he falling apart.
Woo! They
They,
got the
they they that's what
teammates.
they said this morning. They said the man has fallen apart from where he was last year to this year. They got to make some serious changes. I mean,
Maybe is it their wide receivers? I don't know, man. I mean, that's the way the NFL goes sometimes. You know, um, the Panthers played pretty good.
yes, they did. Well, I always say this, and I'm gonna be sticking to this. Greatness figures out a way to win. You got to get in the game first, but when you have a great quarterback, they figure out players. They make their team better and everything. I watched a thing on Michael Jordan, and they said the best thing about Michael Jordan was he practiced as hard as he played, and it made everybody around him much better. And that's what I think all great players do. So Stroud, he had this great. Ain't he like a how much he making a year? Well,
A
it shouldn't
lot.
go by how much they make. He's making right much money a year. And he had a great last year. I just don't know how you go from last year to this year and have such a decline. Like, how does this happen? But you know what? It's a shuffling going on
Well,
right now.
other teams are getting better. You know, that's the thing. If
That's
you
what I'm
say the
saying. There's
same,
some shuffling going on right now. There's some young energy coming in, and the young cats are saying, "Hey, this is our NFL. You old cats, it's time to put the ball down and go home."
so what do you think about the Chiefs? The Chiefs got them a win against the Giants. Now they back on booing Russell Wilson. I mean, they was praising him last week. They booed him the week before. Now they back to booing him. What do you think? Russ didn't look that great, but
Um, Russ had
well,
a
but back to the play calling. They got the dopest receiver in the game. Why don't you get him the ball, man? I don't understand.
well, two things. One, Russ is clearly old and his head ain't in the game no more. A lot of these cats right now,
You was
I
talking great
think.
about him last week.
Listen, I'm gonna give you a list right now, and the list is Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. I got ready to say Doug Flutie. Um, Flacco. Them dudes got to go. It's time. Listen, it is. They are not LeBron James. Okay, I'm not a LeBron James. I am a LeBron James fan, and LeBron is the only one at 40 can play. Look, if you're 40 and you look like LeBron, you should still participate in your sport. If you're 40 and you look like Flacco, you should be out. If you 38 and you look like Russell Wilson, you should be out. If you 38 and you look like Rodgers, you should be out. Look, you definitely shouldn't be
Rodgers
starting.
didn't play. Rodgers didn't play that bad.
Listen, I agree. He didn't play that bad. That's not the standard. Okay. Play. How many times they come up and go, well, Doug, you ain't do that bad at work today. Generally when you are you a cashier, right? And you do 300 scans a day, they be like, man, Doug's the guy. He do 300 scans a day. For 10 years in a row, you do 300 scans a day. Everyone else only does like 150, 180. Then
I'm
Doug comes
consistent.
in, huh?
I'm consistent.
Then Doug comes in and does 150, right? That's not good enough. The manager doesn't go, oh, everybody hit their mark, 150, great. The manager goes, Doug, what are you doing? And Doug is like, I am still I got more scans than everybody else. You looked good, Doug, but you didn't look like Doug. You know what I'm saying? You spoiled us. Aaron Rodgers, for the amount of junk he talked and for that diva attitude he had, for not coming to training camp, all of that kind of stuff. Man, you have to be out there playing lights out football. These guys are looking like they're doing a job. When they go and they showing up, it's almost like, you know what, I can't say nothing. He's here on time. You know, he makes the quota and he don't call in sick. Like, that's not what we're looking for. I mean, that's Flacco, that's Rodgers. They there on time. They do what they're supposed to do. Like Flacco got the ball down.
Apparently that is what they're looking for, because they had young folks in the building. They let them leave, and they went and got a 41-year-old quarterback. So apparently that's what they're looking for. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, at least he was accurate. He was boom, boom. He was accurate.
Do you think the fans are looking for that? Because this is
Hey,
entertainment in the
you
end.
you already know how I feel. I wasn't
Right.
looking for
This is
none of this.
look. We're in entertainment. This is not Walmart. This is not Revco. This is not Philip Morris. This is entertainment. We supposed to turn on the TV and what he say? Are you not entertained? No,
Instead of
I
being
was not.
stressed out Sundays, like I be totally
Right.
stressed
Every
out.
Sunday, you know what? You tune in, your blood pressure be up. I'm gonna send a doctor around there. Your blood pressure up. You trying to be self-medicated to keep yourself down. This is too much on a Sunday. You in Steeler Nation, brother. Steeler Nation. You supposed
But
to
I
play
will say
fast
this:
out
they saying we
football.
don't have no wide receivers. This is the second week in a row I made some money off Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin, the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver, is making me money because people don't believe in him. And he done scored on Sunday, and he always making me big bucks. So we
Well,
do got wide receivers. It's the defense that sucks. And
you
Mike
don't
Tomlin is a defensive guy.
you don't
You
need a
got,
wide receiver.
our coordinator is a brother too, right?
Yes.
You think he should be?
Pittsburgh football.
You think he should be fired?
No, I don't think no black man should be fired at no job
See,
except
that's
for
the
Clarence
problem.
Thomas.
See, that's a problem that we having on Fat Tommy.
I
You
know.
and I having a
I
problem.
understand. You know why? I used to be back at one time. I was all
Well, we don't
radical.
want to win then.
I was radically black, and then I became this fair black man who said, "You know what? Best man for the job." Da 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 da. But we're in an era now where we got to go back to the 70s. I don't call for. He could go 0 for. He could not win a game for the next 11 years, and I wouldn't call for his resignation. I'd be going, "Hey, we'll get him next year. Hey, we'll get him next year." Because listen, if they're not going to do it like it's entertainment, if they give everybody a fair shot and start playing people that listen, actually, let me tell you this. If he don't have the power to draft people, he should keep his job. If he has the power to draft people, he should be fired because he too turned on Shador. He had a chance to draft him. Shador would make a great backup to Aaron Rodgers. He'd have been great. But they told me that Mike Tomlin said the key to football is run the ball and stop the run. That's what they told me. Mike Tomlin's famous quote is. Now, I watched y'all. You can't run the ball 2 yards. Y'all can't run the ball 2 yards. And stopping the run, that's not even a question. This is the worst defense. Mike Tomlin should not even say he's a defensive coach
Right.
no more for the
You
way
should say
people
his special teams guy.
are playing with y'all. So therefore, I don't think he's stopping the run, nor do I think he's running the ball. So I don't know why they even discussing receivers, because by his formula, he don't need a receiver. He needs running backs. So they can't run the ball and they can't stop the run. That's y'all only got two problems. You can't run the ball and you can't stop the run. If you can solve those two problems, and especially when y'all told me you brought Rodgers in to contend. How many? Well, y'all need to win at least two playoff games this year. If y'all don't win two playoff games this year, that's going to be terrible. And it's not looking like y'all going to win two. I hear people saying
Right.
that Baltimore going to win the go to the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, I heard,
Speaking about Baltimore, who you got tonight? The Ravens or the Lions?
I'm
That's
gonna
gonna be
go
a
with
good one.
Lamar. I'm gonna go. You know, Lamar. I'm still. Now that I realize play calling has some of the blame here, I'm going to root with Lamar until I learn something else. Right now, I'm gonna take Lamar against everybody except for Cleveland. Everybody except Shador, I'm taking Lamar.
Hey, we gotta show some love to Cardi B. Cardi B went platinum in 24 hours, man. And she had the drones dropping her album off to people's house to the front door. The lady went, hey, shout out to Cardi B. I'm gonna
Shout
listen to
out
the
Cardi
album.
B.
When we get off, when we get off, I'm gonna check out the album because I haven't heard the album yet. I really don't listen to a lot of Cardi B music, but I like her. I like her attitude. I think she's real. So I'm gonna check it out. But yeah, she's platinum already in 24
I'm
hours.
gonna listen to
Nobody.
Cardi B. Let's see. I listened this weekend. Speaking hip hop, I listened to Jay Electronica. Um, he had a couple of songs I like. I think that was for a niche audience. So it's not for everybody. But I thought it was a, I don't even want to call it a fair album. It was easy to listen to for me. I don't know how the rest of the world will take it. I listened to Ghostface album, not so easy to listen to. So when compared to them two, I kind of lean towards Jay Electronica, the production, just the way he did it. Because to me, Ghostface, they stuck. Like, listen, I didn't think people still smoked crack. I didn't think people still smoked cigarettes. The youth of today is not drinking. Like I surveyed my class. They don't drink as much as we did back in the day. They don't smoke cigarettes. My students, bless the Lord, are not vaping, so they're not vaping. But I found out people still smoke crack. Now, why is that an issue? Because rappers, when I listen to Ghostface,
People still smoke crack.
yep, that's what I was told. But I listened to Ghostface and he's still rapping about crack. And I'm like,
That's
yo,
crazy.
man, listen, you could still rap, yes. Your beats and your topics sound like I'm in 1990. That album could have came out in 1993. Nothing's changed. You still talking the same old stuff. You had one skit, the Paul skit was the best part of the album. The,
You see his son put a diss record against him. You know his son. You see that?
First of all, I teach at VCU. His son, do not call him that because clearly his son self-identifies as a woman.
Okay.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, then you have to come on. This Archie Bunker, you got to come into it's 2025. His daughter, his, and or if you say son, you have to say biological son because he clearly self identifies as a woman. I listened to the album. Now here's what's crazy to me. Okay, hip hop. I know y'all not ready for this, but here it is. I thought his son's song was way better than his.
Whoa.
I
You
thought his son's song was way better than anything he had on his album. The flows
really?
was better, the beats was better. He's actually a decent rapper.
Uh-oh.
I thought just it was very easy to listen to. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take a survey. I'm gonna play it in my class tomorrow because I thought the album, as far as music and rapping, his son can rap. I mean,
Mm.
in fact, I don't think hip hop because in the '90s, hip hop was anti. Well, that's a lie too. They say we was anti transgender, but that can't be so. Biggie and LL had transgenders in their thing. When we actually go back and
Yeah.
start listening to some things that happened in hip hop, plus I don't know any. I know hip hop people who were anti homosexuality, but not to the point that they bash homosexuals. Not
Right.
to the point
Right.
that they sit around. I don't recall ever in the '90s us sitting around and just talking about that. That's not what we did. Like so, they just did what they did, and they lived like. And no one. I've seen in my lifetime gay dudes in hip hop clubs. Nobody's beating them up. So I
Right.
mean, all of
That's
this
right.
we hip hop is. I think hip hop is all inclusive. I think we opened our arms for white people. Uh, Got to go back. Beastie Boys, MC8, Search, all of them. We Vanilla Ice. We never dissed white people that tried to be in hip hop.
Perhaps I think that's a problem because Post Malone, when we accepted him, what he do? Flip out on us. Kid Rock, when he get on, what he do? Flip out on us. What Pink? We let her in. What she do? Flip out on us. That's what they do. They use us as a stepping stone to go where they really want to go.
Hold it. Just I need to defend Pink for a second. Pink never wanted to do that. LA made her do it. She hated it. She hated the vibe, said she wasn't
I
cool
think
enough.
all of them hate it. I think all of them hate it at the beginning. They don't want to do it, but I said they use it as a stepping stone.
They did. She still had to do it because you know why? She worked for somebody, and her
But why do
boss.
we why do we accept them? You know what I mean? Why do we do that, yo?
Okay, now let me help you out here. I was anti-accepting them. I just grew to accept them. I didn't look the Beastie Boys. I wasn't with that, and they became one of my favorite groups. I was forced into liking the Beastie Boys.
Well, I like why because Beastie Boys was doing white boy stuff, so I can accept
But
that
see,
because they was doing
here's
white
why
boy
I didn't
stuff.
like the Beastie Boys. It wasn't a racist thing. It was the fact that they were punk rockers, and it was a joke. It was a mockery. They was really trolling. That whole album that blew up.
No, I wouldn't say trolling. I
Yeah,
was
because
like,
they did it as a joke. They went in their garage.
no, I don't think they did it as a joke. I'm thinking that listen, I can't sing, and I want to be in music, and we punk rockers. Let me try this rap stuff, and I think
I
that's what they did.
I saw them in
Because
the
I don't think you would be trolling if they went on to do the type of hip hop they was doing. They wasn't trolling.
I went on. I remember an interview when they said it was a joke. They went in their garage, they made the album in one whole complete album, and it was a joke to show that anybody could rap. So they were they did it as if to say that our art form wasn't really art. Anybody could do it. Now, it turned out to be a really good album in sales and in popularity. And then they went on to put out three or four, five other good albums, decent hip hop albums. But initially, or it could be that they were scared, and so that in case it flopped, they gave themselves an out. That's probably more
Because I
like
can't I can't see no I can't see no. Have you ever heard anybody playing with any art form and not taking it serious and had that much
yeah.
longevity?
I remember seeing an interview from NWA. Fuck the police was a joke. Dr. Dre never
Yeah, but
wasn't gonna put it out.
yeah, but Ice Cube was a real hip hop cat. Dr. Dre was a real hip hop cat. MC Ren was a real hip hop
Right,
cat.
but that the record they did was a joke and it blew
Well,
up.
well, I don't think it was a joke. It was that listen, the police is doing this to us. Let's go in there booth and record a song, and that's what happened. It was real. I don't
So
think it was a joke.
it was a joke in the sense that they didn't take the writing seriously. It was comical in the nursery schoolish of the F the police. Let's see who else. How about I don't think there's anybody that really created something that was
That's what I'm
literally
saying. That's what I'm saying. It got to be in you. It got to be in you to have that much longevity and the type of hip hop they was doing. Man, they was hip hop cats for
what
real.
about they had what is his name? Rick Rubin as a producer.
Yeah, and
I mean,
DJ
when you have a great
Hurricane.
producer, if you have a great producer, I could do it. I think more than anything, they were giving themselves an out in case it flopped. In
I,
case
I
it
I really do think they was hip hop for real. I think the times they got booed. Listen, if you doing something for a joke and you go on tour and you getting booed as much and keep doing it, I don't think that was a joke. Because
well, I just saw the interview, so I'm not sure. When I look at the longevity that the Beastie Boys had, and that was my initial reason for not liking the Beastie Boys. But then I grew to like them after their albums. So again, I don't think we should be so welcoming. I mean, I was against what's the R&B singer that they said was going to be the next Michael Jackson
who?
that pulled Janet Jackson's shirt open. What was
Oh,
his name?
Justin Timberlake.
I wasn't so welcoming of Justin Timberlake. I wasn't for him. The only people that I really liked that entered into black music that were not black was Tina Marie.
Right.
Um,
She got a documentary coming out too.
Simply Red. I actually liked Simply Red. Uh, Other than that, and I gave George Michaels a pass, but I don't necessarily know that he was R&B. He was more pop anyway. They played him on R&B radio, but he was definitely a pop artist.
What about Daryl Hall and John Oates?
I liked Hall and Oates. I think again, I don't understand why they have to be put in a category of R&B. I think they're great. There was just pop music. Stop. Even David Bowie, put on your red shoes and dance
Hey,
the
this
blues.
this 70-year-old cat was telling me back in the day it was no category. It was
I
just
can remember. I remember growing up, and we had a station called the 13 Waves that we could only listen to in the daytime. We had BLS that could come to Connecticut, but till 4 o'clock you couldn't get it. You know, you had to have a serious antenna. So after 4 p.m., BLS would clear, but we would listen to the 13 Waves. Now on the 13 Waves, I could hear "If You Think I'm Sexy." I think that's Rod Stewart.
yeah, Rod
Um,
Stewart.
you could hear Stevie Wonder. You could hear Earth, Wind, and Fire, and you could also hear Pink Floyd. Like
Mm.
our radio station in New Haven, I grew up on a radio station. That's why I say I listen to all music. I grew up where radio played. There was no like categories became a thing when they made a chart. Think
Mm.
about it because
Mm.
they had a chart, so now they have to have a category. Because remember, hip hop used to be R&B. When hip hop first came out, it was on the R&B chart. That's why hip hop records wasn't charting because they were all in the same category as R&B. So then they said, "Hey, give them a new category." So then I think 1989 they created a hip hop singles chart. But
Do you think that it should be a separation now because some of this newer so-called hip hop is not really hip hop? You think we should break it down either further with the drill, with the trap, the conscious, the urban contemporary, like the older hip hop? You know what I mean? Because we got a lot of older artists coming out. It's not fitting the mold of what's happening, yo.
I think we should stick to if we should just go back to the original. We should go back to what it was defined as hip hop, what the purpose of it was, because then we get rid of see if we start categorizing it now, which I understand where drill is taking us, but if that was the case, then we never should have let NWA come out. Like we should have looked at NWA and said that ain't hip hop. We should have looked at some people and said, "Ho, ho, ho, ho."
Tell me what make NWA not hip hop.
Well, the principles say that it's supposed to be for peace, love, and safely having fun. There's nothing that equates to peace, love, unity, or safely having fun in their music. There was nothing, unless one could argue that gang life does create unity. But then you
Mm.
miss the peace, love, and safely having fun. If you remember, they said we started this because people was fighting and they wanted to dance and rap instead of fight and shoot. So if we go back to the principles was all about us doing this for clean, healthy fun, right? So now at some point it changed up. Now people can argue. I say Schoolie D, he came and did his little thing, and that opened up the door for the I guess breaking of hip hop. Like when people say, I say NWA ended real hip hop because you got to remember we had Chuck D and all of them, and they try to compare "F the Police" to "Fight the Power." Okay, you could compare those two records, but you can't compare NWA to Public Enemy
Right.
because Public Enemy was the things that they were doing was for a positive, strong message of staying away from drugs and doing this. NWA was the exact opposite. The only reason why they were saying F the police was because they was messing with them for selling drugs.
Oh.
They was complaining that they was outside selling drugs and they was getting caught and they saying leave us alone because you illegally searching us. You pulling us over because we got beepers. All the stuff that they was pulling all of us over. But let's also look at this. 90% of the people that weren't doctors that had pagers, would you say that they were participating in illegal behavior? In the late 80s, early 90s. You run around, you 19 years old with a pager.
Because I had
19
one.
years
I had
old.
one. I had one when I was in the Navy. So I don't want to say that's the truth because I had one and I was in the
I
Navy.
know you're the 10%. I said 90% of them.
Let's say because some people's doing it for fashion, just like
Right. But the way it
when
became
the
a
beat,
thing, it became a fad.
just like when the Beats headphones came out, everybody had them. Was they went into music or not? So I'm gonna go with 85%.
It became a fad. I'm talking pre-fad. It
Okay,
became a
all
fad.
right.
Why did it become a fad? Because all the drug dealers had pagers. And then we realized that that was a good communication source. Think about it. It was
Mm.
only $15 a month. Somebody could pay you. You could call them right back, whether it's your girlfriend, your mother. Then it became cool to have. And why did it become cool to have? Because corporate America pushed the narrative. Listen, 1989, NWA drops, right? What then happens? We go from all these positive Spike Lee movies to Menace to Society, New Jack City, Belly, all of this. They defined hip hop for us. They decided that what was going to happen. We're going to get rid of Queen Latifah, send her to California where she left hip hop, whether she did it on purpose or whatever, but she leaves hip hop. Public Enemy kind of the positive native tongue movement now falls off. NWA drops, then NWA and Ice Cube have their battle. Then Dr. Dre drops the Chronic. California's winning. The East Coast only got what's the scenario? Black Sheep, Tribe Called Quest. Native Tongues is battling. That's the real battle between Native Tongues and this gangster movement that California's having. Everybody's coming out of Cali was crazy until the Far Side. You're looking at Too Short. All of them dudes was all on drug gang culture, except for MC Hammer, who was part of the gang culture but didn't promote it. You had MC Hammer and the Far Side. For the most part, the rest of them were all on this drug pushing movement.
Let me ask you this final question. You see where the FCC went after ABC and got Jimmy Kimmel uh, fired or show indefinite, whatever. Do you think the FCCs have that same energy for the music that's playing on the black radio, where, like you said, death, destruction, selling drugs, all that? Do you think they should go after black radio?
Absolutely. When listen, when what is his name? Two Live Crew. Um,
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker went to court to fight for freedom of speech. That's why we got parental advisories on music. And so yes, we got that little dumb sticker. But
That made
corporate
the record sale, right?
right. You get that, and you bear. I know people started putting it on it. The group PA came out, parental advisory. Like the government, I think, and Wesley Muhammad in his book, The Weaponization of Hip Hop, I think really did it. I think they weaponized hip hop against the black community. I think if they would have kept the same attitude that they have right now for them saying Jimmy Kimmel shouldn't talk, well, then the FCC should have said, hold it. We have standards in radio. This stuff at least shouldn't be on the radio till after 8 p.m. Remember, there was a time when nothing came on television. We had the family hour until 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock, you heard nothing negative. Right now, I was watching TV the other day, watching football. My daughter's in here, and a erectile dysfunction commercial comes
Yeah,
on. And I mean,
right.
it go all the way there. It don't even it's not concerned with me in the room with my daughter. I wanted to change the channel. I'm like,
My niece,
yo,
hey, my niece looked at me like this, and I was like, yeah, it was too
what are
late to
we
get the
doing? Like
remote.
America has gone. It was a time when that would not have. We can't
Right.
even show alcohol commercials on television. Think about it. It's on cable. You can't turn on 6, 8, or 12 and see a Hennessy commercial because the FCC don't allow liquor companies or cigarette companies to advertise. That's why they made a whole rule. That's why you don't see Hennessy on television. When you see Hennessy, Marlboro commercials, they took Marlboro. Remember they used to have the Marlboro Man? They put
Yeah.
him off there. He had to come on after 8 o'clock. Could never be on no children's shows. Couldn't be on Saturday mornings during cartoons and all of that. And now you can see erectile dysfunction, vape commercials, all this beer, everything all day long. And I think it's inappropriate. So I think the FCC should get off of Jimmy Kimmel and get on his job. And his job is supposed to set some standards for the youth. I'm all about protecting the kids from all this unnecessary stuff. What they do on late night TV, have at it. It's 11 o'clock. A kid up by then should be subjected to that.
All right, Fat Tommy. Thanks, yo.
Thank you. See you next week.